what a dinner date means. Well, there has been a question that has been circling on social media for about 2 years now, and it's about Jay Z, right? And the question that was posed years ago, if you were offered $500,000 or dinner with Jay Z, what should you do? And I don't remember like the exact social media user, but there was this big conversation where the individual was like, I would take dinner with Jay Z because the knowledge that he could pass on and the information that you could get and the mentorship. And it's like, on one hand, yeah, you don't get opportunities to sit down with a CEO or someone like that and have conversation and break bread. However, one, who's to say Jay would give you any nuggets, right? That's not a guarantee. It doesn't say dinner with advice. Two, would you be able to implement those things without the capital? I mean, hard work gets you far, but how far is it going to get you if you don't have the capital to activate your dream, right? And it doesn't mean that Jay Z's going to give it to you. Well, listen, I personally yelled out to Jay Z on the red carpet for The Harder They Fall this exact same question 2 years ago. And I didn't get the response that Gail got, but I did get a response. If you want to check that out, you can head over to my Instagram at Stiletto Jill. It's on there. It's been up there for a couple years. Just look, there's a row that has The Harder They Fall on it, and you'll see his response to me and what I said. But in a recent interview with Gail King, Jay finally answered the question of what you should do if somehow you were presented with the opportunity to either have a dinner with him or to be given $500,000. Now, we don't know if that's tax free, if that's the amount, if you have to pay any type of money back on this, but we're just putting it out there. Let's hear what he had to say.
Hear what you think about this. If you had a choice between getting paid $500,000 in cash or lunch with Jay Z,
Yeah.
which would you choose?
You gotta take the money. What I'm gonna say? Yeah, I mean everything that I'm gonna say.
No,
everything.
only because people say, of course you take lunch with Jay Z because the wisdom that you would get from him would be so beneficial to you. There would only be a matter. You would take the money.
Yeah, because you got all that in the music for $10.99. That's a bad deal. I wouldn't tell you to cut a bad deal. Like
I don't
take the
know.
500,000. Go buy some albums and listen to the albums. It's all there. If you piece it together and really listen to the music for the words, for what it is, it's all there. Everything that I said was gonna happen, happened. Everything that I said I wanted to do, I've done. And there's the blueprint. The blueprint, literally, to me and my life.
So, listen, one, what did you think he was going to say, right? But two, I have always maintained, I read Decoded. I can figure it out. Jay-Z has done enough interviews. Now, I didn't think to say, oh, I can listen to his music and get those lessons. You can. But I feel like I've seen, he's done a spate of interviews. He wrote Decoded, which was inspiring on a lot of levels, had a lot of answers to some questions, his philosophy on things. And my response would have been to take the 500K too. And that way maybe I could flip it, buy my way into a charity event or something and get close to him that way. But that's just my thinking. Again, I think most people would take the money. I think when you're saying, I would take the opportunity, you just want to sound smart. And again, it's not necessarily a wrong answer. It's just, who says Jay-Z's going to give you the gems? That's just the thing. There is no guarantee that you are going to get those gems. There is no guarantee that he's going to say, you know what, I'm going to mentor you. There's no assurance of that at all, right? And so
The money is guaranteed.
money is guaranteed. You could do a lot of things with it. You could save up. You could buy Live Nation stock and then be one of the stockholders and make your way in that way. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to go about it. But he's finally put it to bed. Here's the thing. I need to watch the whole interview he did with Gayle King, because why is he sitting down with Gayle King? I'm really confused about that. I have to go check that out. I mean, that has to mean that some venture is happening or something is coming out. But Why you sitting down with Gail King? Jay rarely does interviews, and when he does them for a reason. So I'm gonna have to go back and see what's going on with that, because now I'm curious, of course. But yeah, that's what you should do. Take the money. Always take the money. If someone's giving you free money, well, first make sure that there's no strings attached to it. But take the money. Simple math, right? Listen, when we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We will get into Tyler Perry's new deal. We're going to talk all about it. And of course, more trending topics and headlines. We're going to talk about Jennifer Hudson and her decision not to publicize her public relationship with Common. Is that a smart move? We'll get into all of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions because we've got your black. Listen up. If you're one of the more than 100,000 California tenants who were rejected or delayed when applying for COVID rental assistance, you've got a second chance. Under the terms of a new settlement, California's Housing and Community Development Department agreed to audit its past denials. The program ended in March 2022, but the advocacy groups Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, Policy Link, and Strategic Actions for a Just Economy sued the department. According to the coalition's analysis of state data, the department rejected nearly 30% of all applicants. Under the settlement, the department agreed to clear all renters in the pipeline within 6 months. The settlement applies to anyone who sought assistance from the state's Housing is Key program before April 1st, 2022, whose applications is pending or was denied after June 6, 2022. Tenants who have questions about the status of their application can call the hotline at 833-430-2122. That's 833-430-2122. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, listen. I like saying that. Makes me feel powerful. No, I'm just playing. We've been talking about Tyler Perry a little bit and his new deal. So Tyler has struck a new multi-year first look deal with Netflix, and it will have him write, direct, and produce features for the streamer. We know he has a deal and part ownership in BET Plus, We know that there were conversations about Tyler potentially buying BET until Paramount decided to take it off of the market and utilize it and such. And from what Tyler's remarks were, he wasn't too happy about what they were offering for him. And obviously, he still has equity in BET Plus, but seems that, he's had a little bit of change in focus, right? So it also comes following news of the creative partnership that he has with Amazon Studios that he made last November to write, produce, and direct features for them as well, right? And he's worked with Netflix over the years. He has forthcoming films with them, 688 and Mea Culpa. So Kerry Washington, who executive produced and also stars in 6888, is the true story of the first and only women's Army Corps unit of women of color to be stationed overseas during World War II. It also stars Kelly Rowland and, Kerry stars in that one. Mea Culpa stars Trevante Rhodes and Kelly Rowland. Let's just say, I don't even know what Mea Culpa's about. I'm actually about to tell you. But that casting right there, beautiful. So, doesn't even kind of matter what the words are going to be on the screen. It does. But just looking at those two, beautiful. The film is about a criminal defense attorney who takes on the case of an artist who may or may not have murdered his girlfriend. So, obviously, Kelly's the criminal defense attorney. So, sounds like a thriller, right? We know most recently Tyler's A Jazzman's Blues was highly acclaimed on Netflix. People really love that tale of forbidden love from the 1940s. It is a film. It's actually the first film that he ever wrote, and it was something he had been trying to get made for years. He said originally when he first was trying to get the film made, he wanted it to star himself. He wanted, I believe, Halle Berry to play Bucket, that is the female lead, and he also wanted Debbie Allen to be in it, but she ended up directing it. Anyway, the cast was pretty interesting. We also know that on Netflix, he made a lot of money with Medea: A Homecoming, the 12th installment of the Medea franchise. Even though he had said that he was putting Medea to bed, he brought her back out. Those checks were banging. And he had the thriller A Fall from Grace, which had everybody up in arms and commentating on the various little glitches that I feel like Tyler does on purpose. Some of those things I really feel like he does on purpose for conversation's sake, but I don't know. At any rate, you can look forward to more Tyler content on Netflix. And also this week, Maxine's Baby, which is the Tyler Perry story. It's a documentary that is going to be on Amazon premiering on the 27th. So make sure to check that out so you can get more into Tyler's backstory and how he became the man that he is now, right? All right, so we got to talk about Jennifer Hudson. Well, before we get into that, because that's about love, but let's talk a little bit about pain. Not really, but really. So I mentioned last week that Lupita had talked about on her social media the breakup of herself and her boyfriend. She put together these words. They weren't her own. They were poetry from someone else that basically described heartbreak. And it was really emotional. She obviously was pretty heartbroken. It sounds as if, there's no confirmation, but it sounds as if her ex may have cheated on her. And so she was just talking about struggling to get through that moment. And they were met with, of course, an overflow of love from fans and a few notable celebrities, including Gabrielle Union, Ava DuVernay, Niecy Nash, and more. But Marlon Wayans actually came through with words that seemed to really not only resonate with the people in the comments, but Lupita herself, we're assuming, at least. What he wrote was, "Trust God, He wants better for you. All lessons are blessings, especially the painful ones. This too shall pass. Warmest of hugs. Be kind to you as you heal. He also said, I always say, whenever I have a breakup, lucky me, I get to love me again. I missed you, me. Go love on you, woman. So I think that, and he tweeted that out. I think that's really sweet. And I think it's really nice because so often when we talk about breakups, we talk about what we're missing and what we're losing out on. And we tend to get sad and depressed. But if you also think about it as a chance to reassociate yourself with yourself, give yourself some self care, and the opportunity to find a new level of love that meets you where you're at in your growth, I think that that is exciting. And that was a sweet message for Marlon to share. You know, he can have a sensitive side. It's not all jokes and things of that nature. So I appreciate him uplifting and wanting to support his boo. Well, not his boo, his friend. I call everybody boos, like, you know, the homie, the friend, your boo, because that's what it is. At any rate, I thought it was sweet. I thought it was nice. So, speaking of love, right? We know that Jennifer Hudson and Common might be seeing each other. We've seen pictures of them out. We've seen pictures of them being affectionate, right? And when the new season of her talk show started back up a couple of weeks ago, Jennifer admitted that she has a new man and that, you know, there's been a lot of speculation about her love life. Really started maybe in July of 2022 when they were spotted having a romantic dinner in Philadelphia, right? And they've been spotted together at local events. They're both from Chicago, so they were spotted out and about there. They were also spotted in London. Neither one of them has confirmed the relationship, but in the new season of her show, Jennifer has admitted to dating someone and having someone special. She recently talked about, you know, Usher's newest single, Boyfriend, and that she wanted to take someone special or go with someone special to Usher's Las Vegas residency. I mean, I think that she should be careful in thinking about that because we've seen the problems that going to the Usher show can cause people in relationships if they're not prepared for it. But she said, now I didn't get to the concert yet, right? But she has her sights set on going to see Usher before his residency ends in December. Me too, Jen. Me too. I'm so sad. I don't know why I haven't made that move. Well, I do know why, but anyway, she said, listen, we need to get a ticket, don't we? I'm trying to get there. I just love that new song, right? And then she said, and I'm going to bring my boyfriend, all right, and we're going to sit in the back and watch because Usher is everybody's boyfriend. We know Usher got a girlfriend, a long-term girlfriend, and 2 babies, but, you know, it does appear, and that's what a good performer does. They make you think that, listen, this is just for me. Usher's giving the same lines, the same walk, every night, but somehow it manages to feel different for the fans, even the fans that have seen this time and time again, even if it's just on social media. But that's what you want from a true performer. But anyway, you know, one social media user put out there, does Jennifer Hudson really have a boyfriend? It seems like she's not claiming Common. And I have to say that I'm not mad at her for that. One, listen, we've seen what happens when y'all put us in the group chat. We've seen how you guys get mad at us for asking questions about the stuff that you put out there. When you put out your relationship as aspirational, right? And then one day it just goes poof and we don't see anymore. We're going to have questions. We are not entitled to the information, but it'd be nice because we want to know, right? We're a little curious. We support you. We're like, yay, don't you guys look beautiful? So when it's not looking so pretty, we want to share in it. We might even, you know, pat your tears away, right? So there's that. But again, you're talking to someone who is very much, I don't feel the need to share my significant other, boo, or whatever on social media. Like, I understand why that's important to some people, but I also think that sometimes when you involve people in your mix, especially early on, right? Especially early on, it can cause unnecessary problems because then you're inundated, especially if you are a celebrity, by unwanted opinions, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong or they're bad or they're not giving you good advice, but sometimes you just want the experience firsthand and for your thoughts and opinions of this other person or your union to take shape organically without someone else's coloring or filter on the situation, right? Also, let's be real. I jokingly, don't take this the wrong way, Lonnie. That's Common's real name. I don't know Common, but I'm just being funny. I jokingly call Common a rite of passage for black women in Hollywood. And I do that just because, Common has a few notable exes, right? He's dated Taraji P. Henson, Serena Williams, Angela Rye, choreographer Fahima. I mean, there's a lot more. Fatima, I said Fahima. Shout out to Fahima that checks in on our show. Choreographer Fatima. There's a few more. Common, he dates. Can't forget about Erykah Badu, right? Because she had him dressing different all the way. So, I mean, he has certainly been involved with a woman or two across the Hollywood spectrum and notable ones, not just obscure. Like that list, that's did I not say Tiffany?
Tiffany.
Okay. So look, Tiffany, Taraji, Serena, Angela Rye. I'm missing somebody now, Jennifer. Erica, right? That's a nice list. Like he's kind of on his low-key Nick Cannon-ish, right? Because Nick Cannon had a list. Nick Cannon has dated some of the baddest women in Hollywood pre-baby making days. And listen, we talk about women who date ambitiously. Hollywood is small, right? And you want to kind of sometimes stay within your thing because when you venture out, then you could end up like Mary, Sherry, or any number of these female celebrities that have had to, yeah, I don't know why Siri just came on my phone. I don't know what I said that made Siri turn on. That was really weird. Anyway, you don't want to be like any of these female celebrities that end up having to fork over half their fortune to somebody that didn't contribute. I know the same thing happens to men, but somehow it seems all the more tragic when it happens to a woman. I don't know why. It just seems that way. So nobody wants to be that. And I'm not saying that Common would do that, but I can understand if you are number 8 in a list of famous ladies, maybe you just want to see what happens. Especially Tiffany, has been very vocal about her breakup with Common, that, they were kind of headed in 2 different directions. She was looking for something more serious than she thought he was too. She kind of felt played. And again, that's a list. That's a nice list. No engagements though. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. If Common was a woman, right? If Common was a woman, people would be like, why can't she keep a man? Right? But no one's going to say, why can't Common keep a woman? They're just going to say he's player and let it keep rolling. And I am not questioning why Common cannot keep a relationship. I am just saying if Common was a woman, there would be questions on why he can't keep a relationship when he is, did you say old? Come on. We won't say old when he's,
seasoned.
He's seasoned. Yes, that's a good word. When he's seasoned, he's in his classic era of life, right? Some people are just wondering when somebody might get a ring. He could be forever bachelor, player, single life for him. It works for some people. But I guess maybe, people are just looking to see him do that maybe with one person for an extended period of time. I don't know what the extended period of time would be, but maybe that's what they're looking for. However, I feel like with Jennifer, especially because she had a sort of messy divorce, but I don't know if they were actually married. Let's just say a breakup. I'm not sure if she and her son's father, the wrestler that was on, I think he was on New York.
Oh, Punk.
Yeah, yeah. They had a messy breakup, so she may not want to relive those type of moments again in the press. That can be hard. You're faced with things you may have gotten over, and we got to circle the block and discuss it again because people are just discovering it. So if you don't know about it, you can't talk about it, right? Just one day, what happened? Oh, we were never really dating. We were just best friends. Oh, we were thinking about working on a project. We let you guys think what we want. So I can't say that I'm mad at that, especially with someone that is a serial dater. Again, no shade, no tea, no disrespect, but I might choose to keep that a little close just because, people can also send bad energy your way just because they've seen him move through other situations and they want to add their 50 cents and we may not care. So kudos to Jen. I hope that the relationship is going amazing if that's how you want it and you guys feel good about it and all of that good stuff. When we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines. Of course, you were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. An off-duty pilot is being charged with attempted murder for allegedly trying to crash an Alaska Airlines flight. The airline said the flight carrying 83 people from Everett, Washington to San Francisco diverted to Portland Sunday due to the incident. Police say suspect Joseph Emerson was overwhelmed by the flight crew and remains behind bars. On a sad note, Georgetown University's women head basketball coach Tasha Butts, who is black, has lost her fight with breast cancer. She was diagnosed with the disease 2 years ago and left the team in September. Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes are returning to the gridiron. Colorado comes out of the bye week and will visit 24th-ranked UCLA on Saturday night at the Rose Bowl. After losing to Stanford, the Buffaloes dropped to 4-3 on the season. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Prime members save more at your Amazon Fresh store. As a Prime member, you'll save 10% on hundreds of items in store, from organic produce to pantry staples to handcrafted pizza. Head to Amazon.com/fresh locations and find a store near you.
We boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Thinking about hosting a podcast and don't know where to start? Morris Media Studios has you covered. We're a professional podcast and voiceover studio located in Leimert Park. We specialize in recording and live streaming audio and video podcasts. Let us help you set up, record, and distribute your podcast. Hosting a podcast is a great way to bring awareness to your business, product, or good cause. For more info, visit morrismediastudios.com or give us a call at 323-815-4204.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Motor Trend Group, LLC, seeks a release manager, web, and mobile platforms in El Segundo, California to develop next generation of Motor Trend software platforms for MotorTrend.com and Motor Trend streaming app. Remote work permitted. Send resume to Tyler Williams, Discovery Communications, LLC, 265 Brookview Center Way, Suite 401, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37919.
Hey, everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Honey. Hey, I'm here for you. Tell me about school today.
When kids can't find the right words, music can help them sound it out. Talk to the kids in your life about their emotional well-being. Find tools and resources at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose America.
Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep, that is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Go. And on the count of 3, everybody run back to your fantasy. Now, she was up bad, the type at the club would grab her. Fantasize when I had her in the bathroom sweating with her up. The body of a dancer. We had chemistry cause she was a cancer. Thought forever it would last for, but forever move faster. So I had to. Still I got the pause when I think about her in them drawers. And ooh baby she liked it raw. And like rain when she came and poured. And like a car that I can't afford. I will want it, they want some more.
Come through with the comment to bring us home. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, and ooh, baby, I like it raw. Shout out to ODB, too. What is that called? An interlope? That's what an interlope is, technically, right? Okay. So, back in the day, we just called it paying homage, but now you actually have to pay the original writer when you do that little ditty in there that just seems like a good time. Otherwise, you could be sued. Songwriting is so complicated nowadays. I feel like to a degree it makes sense, but sometimes I'm kind of like, really? Just for that one little part? But I suppose if it's something that was a huge hit, I guess they feel like I'm contributing. I'm giving you something. Anyway, that is a side. So, as I said, the YouTube comments, they get to it. They get right to it. So Kwamel says, props due to Common for bagging Angela Rye. Drake is on the same path. Like the two of them can't find the one. Halle Berry, the female version. No. Don't do that to Halle. Halle has been with Van Hunt for quite some time now. They seem to be vibing. I don't think that she wants to get married again. She had to pay a lot in child support, alimony, all of that stuff. So I think she's like, no, thank you. I'm just going to be here in my situation. Angela Rye, though, has a new boo. She and Jalen Rose have been dating for quite some time. They are a couple, a power couple, hitting the political scene, the sports scene, and so forth. So, again, it is hard, especially if you're in an environment like Hollywood entertainment to find it's hard in general for a lot of people to find their equal, their mate, their soulmate, their connection. So when you take something like celebrity fame and then the financial aspect of it, it makes things a little complicated. So I do understand why they date within, because it also takes a special type of person to understand that lifestyle and some of the things that come along with it. So, as long as everybody is okay with it, I don't really have an issue with it, but it is what I like to call they love a referral. Because sometimes it seems like, they don't want to date somebody if there's not a referral out there on them. So whatever, it's cute, it's cute, it's cute. It works for some. Kendi says back in the chat, it's rare to have access to Hollywood celebrities. As a man, you'd almost be a fool to not make the most of all the options you can. The rules are different for men. Are they really? Or do we just say they are? I mean, in theory, they are different, but please believe there are some of these women celebrities that are taking full advantage of the opportunities that are presented to them as well, right? And they get slammed for it sometimes. Like you look at Megan Thee Stallion, people have had a lot of commentary on her dating around at a young age, good, bad, or indifferent from how you feel about it. But why is it just as a man, as a person, if you have the best of the best, in theory, at your disposal, why not sample it? It's nothing wrong with dating, right? It's not. And everybody that is in entertainment, in theory, within reason, is exposed to a lot of different things. I mean, there are other people that aren't celebrities that work in the entertainment space that I'm sure that I know get offers from the same type of people. And, you don't just have to be the man in those positions. They could take advantage of it. Pretty Brown Mimi says Halle Berry has been married 3 times and is currently in a relationship. I think she's found the one. Halle went through Eric Benet, David Justin, Christopher Williams, Wesley Snipes. Things don't work. Are you supposed to give up because things go bad a time or two? Or are you just supposed to keep things moving? I think that anything can be worked with, but I do think sometimes the expectations can make it hard. Again, that's why I say maybe keep things a little quiet so that people aren't interjecting, because what you were with one person doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be the same way with someone else. You have to give things an opportunity to develop, but take heed. I do think that. Kendi says, from what I can see, women are okay with sharing someone of higher status than having someone they can call that they can have all to themselves, but is of lower status. That explains Drake and Common. I find it interesting that you say that women are only okay with sharing men of higher status when we hear of so much drama with regular guys. Like if you think about back in the day, those talk shows, Ricky Lakes, Montel Williams, Jenny Jones, things of that nature, those were regular people on there. And not all the storylines were fake. We hear people calling it. Do you listen to the station? Do you listen to Zoe Williams' show, The Voice of Reason? We hear people talking about all the time about situations where they are, splitting things out, doing things a different way. We see it all the time. We hear about the numbers. We see y'all encouraging it, and the things. So I feel like the idea that these are things that only happen with the wealthy men is false. Women do it every day for broke dudes, for dudes that just got out the jail, for the homosexual that they are funding through their thing. So I feel like that is a bit of a stretch. We know that in theory, well, not in theory, in fact, women outnumber men, especially if we're talking about black women. Then you put in all of the different bugs and key components that people are putting in there, whether it's height, salary, whatever their things, there are less eligible bachelors than there are eligible bachelorettes. We talk about it all the time. So I feel like, all of these spats that we hear about, it's not just famous people. So I think that we can move around from that process. But I understand where you're going with it, and it sounds nice. Like, yeah, sometimes they may fight for them a little harder, but again, I see regular people fighting over the same trusty dusty that, you hear about. So, huh?
I said, but he's reliable.
The reliable trusty dusty?
He's trusty, but he's just dusty, real dusty.
I mean, there's all different things that could lead to why that is, but women fight over regular guys all the time for the positioning, try and get that upper hand.
We've all seen it in person where they're not even mad at him.
Right. They're just going hard on the woman.
And they mad at each other. We see it all the time.
So, I think it sounds good in theory. Oh, yeah. Are you sure nothing happened, Kendi? I feel like something happened. Listen, I am an ear. I am here for you. Feel free to share. You can enter it into the chat. You can get on the app and leave a little secret voice message, or you can call in right now. We can talk about it. I am here to help because I want to know what happened, because something happened. You sound a little better. And maybe you're not, but you sound a little better. Listen, some people are okay with the shared scenario for whatever reason. They feel like they're past the point where they want to be bothered. They feel like they don't have very many options, so a piece of man is better than no man. But that saying has been around for forever. The elders used to talk about that with some women. That's why pops were able to have, families down the street. You would hear people talk about it because it happened. So I don't think it's just a celebrity thing or a new thing. I think that you are giving the newbies and the celebs too much credit. They following what's already out there. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We will also get you ready for tomorrow's show and what topics we have coming up then. Some of them. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, I saw this topic and I thought it was an interesting one, and I feel like it's a good one to close on for tonight. Shout out to Kwamel and Pretty Brown Mimi. Thank you for rocking with us. We appreciate you all the time. So listen, there was a video on social media that has been making the rounds, right? And it is a video, the Instagram is Clayton Chronicles. I'm not sure who that is, but the video says POV, who needs enemies when you have daughters? And so in the video, it's a daughter and her dad, and she's talking to her mom, and she was like, what I need you to know is no matter how many times you sleep with this man, you are not blood related to him. If he needed a kidney, you could not give it to him. He is my dad, and he's just your husband. You guys could break up at any time. Now, this is her biological daughter, right? And dad is just standing there cheesing, and the daughter is talking. Let me say, I do believe that the daughter was joking. I think she was being funny. They probably have the type of relationship where they could joke with each other, and she's obviously a daddy's girl. But of course, social media is reacting and reacting very strongly because they felt like it was absolutely inappropriate for her to even joke with her mom in that fashion, right? That she took it too far. Like, girl, we said our vows before God. And certainly they felt like the dad shouldn't have been standing there giggling, that he should have been like, that's my wife, and stepped up. So I just wonder, again, I think that they were totally like joking, like, serious but joking, like, yeah, I'm a daddy's girl, da 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 da, and spitting out facts, but in a comedic way. But I don't know these people. This is just my quick pop synopsis from watching the video. But is that a problem for you? Do you feel like it is inappropriate for a child, whether it is a man or a guy talking about his mom or a young lady talking about her dad, to address their parent that way, even in jest? Like, is that not funny? Is that crossing the line? I suppose it depends on the makeup of your family, how you guys get down, the sensitivity, because, and I think we've talked about this recently on the show, there are some mothers and daughters who enter into a competitive state, especially around the father, right? And not from a creepy perspective per se, but just sometimes that happens because, maybe the mom feels like, hey, you're giving too much attention to the daughter. I'm still here. I bore her. So, give me some love too. Don't let it replace. It's just, it can be an interesting dynamic. Some people in the comments were like Eve's Bayou. If you've never seen Eve's Bayou and they're making that joke, it's funny. It's not, the situation isn't funny, what they're implying, but the joke is funny. Like, if you've never seen that movie and you've never seen the video, you should go look at them both. You might laugh unless you're a sensitive type, and then you might be offended, but you shouldn't be because it's meant to be funny. But yeah, as someone who was a daddy's girl, I cannot ever imagine even thinking to say that to my mother. Like, that, even in jest, seems to be a little far. And let me tell you why I feel like it's a little far. Because they put it on the internet. Like, again, they're probably just sharing, and they probably have that family dynamic where they can just bust out jokes. But, excuse me, not even jokingly would I share that. I don't know. It just seems a little crazy, a little much, a little inappropriate, but hey, they probably have an amazing family dynamic, and that is just, how they get down, how they enjoy the things. Okay, listen, we have time for a couple of more stories. And so that's what we're going to do. I was debating on if we were going to talk about it or not, but we are. So I have a question for you. We've seen on social media that people that are in prison sometimes manage to get a hold of things. We've seen them make their own food, their gourmet food with just, ramen noodles and some milk or things of that nature, and come up with these creative concoctions. We've seen them make makeup out of Swiss Miss Hot Cocoa Mix and lipstick and things of that nature for their foundation. Well, now we've also seen videos. We've seen them do, acting videos. I don't know if you saw the reenactment in jail of a scene from Friday. That was pretty funny. It's a lot going on. I kind of don't understand, like, when this stuff gets out there, I'm assuming that it gets back to the prison, whatever they're called, the upper echelon, what are they called? Is that what they have, a cabinet at the prison? The warden, yeah. So I'm sure, like, when they see these videos online of people in their facility, like, do they get sent to the hole? Like, what happens? I don't know. Like,
I mean, I would hope. Well, I don't hope. I mean, like, they just spreading some creativity too.
I just wonder how that works. And as we get further and further into the digital age, and they, obviously we know they have access to the internet to a certain degree and things like that. I just wonder how that all works out, because at some point, I feel like you got to know they're doing it. You just somehow nobody knows. They're missing the whole production that's taking place in there.
But then also when they see it, they're not going to go and ask about it. This you, like, what can we say,
Because it's you, right?
It's you right here on camera.
I'm just curious about that. Well, I bring all that up because your guy Suge Knight is launching a podcast from prison. It's called Collect Calls with Suge Knight. And I'm like, can you do that? I thought, well, he's not in prison for murder. So I know that there's some law in certain states where you can't profit from your crimes. Like, you can't write a book or tell your story or something like that. But anyway, somehow Suge is launching a podcast. It's in collaboration with Dave Mays. If you don't know who Dave Mays is, he is responsible or one of the men involved in the start of The Source magazine. So, has a very extensive hip-hop history. The podcast is going to delve into hip-hop topics, discuss life experiences, and it's meant to foster connections with younger and older audiences and artists, and answer the questions that people have. I do think Suge has been hearing people like Whack 100 and seeing what has happened with the Art of Dialogue and these different channels, Gene Dial, Keefe D before he went to jail.
He's seeing money.
Yeah, he's seeing money. He's seeing all of these OGs tell their story, tell versions of events of things that he may or not have been involved in, and was like, why not me? Why not my turn? I'm charismatic. I got stuff to tell too. Half the time they're talking about me with some of these podcasts, so why not do it myself? I just think
you're in jail,
right? That was going to be my next point. I just think that it's interesting that he would be allowed to do so. But I guess if it's just a phone call,
I was thinking about that too while I was sitting here. He could just phone call it in.
But they're promoting it as, it says collect calls, so maybe that's going to be part of the thing. You have received a collect call from inmate,
How
whatever.
much time do you get allotted on the phone, though? Because
he's probably going to have to hang up and call right back. Phone check, homie. You ain't getting this phone. When Suge gets on the phone, he probably don't move off of that phone. He probably has a phone that he designates for himself that he utilizes for most of the day. He's probably on the phone or walking the yard, and that's how his days are spent. Don't ask me why I know some things about that life. I just do. These are just things that I've heard. Okay. But that's what I heard he did the first time around. That's what I know he did the first time around. So I don't know. I'm assuming that's what happened then. But I do find it interesting. I want to see how they're going to be able to promote it and such, because how can you do that in jail? Like, we know physically how it can get done, but how can you legally do it? We know what won't be on there. Suge recently said that in no way will he cooperate with the prosecutor's case for the Keefe D trial related to Tupac. He said he doesn't have any answers. He doesn't have any denials. He has nothing for them. So I thought that's interesting. Maybe he'll save it for his own podcast. I don't know. Just seems like an interesting thing to dangle out there. At any rate, Dave Mays is the CEO of Breakbeat Media, and it's officially set to launch next week on Halloween, and we will be looking out for it. It's approximately 5 episodes, and they're 30-minute conversations. They've already been recorded. So we'll see what it's like. It's going to discuss things like the headlines with his name in it, his thoughts on Snoop Dogg owning Death Row Records, and more, you know. It's not just to shade other artists, though. Mays wants to be clear with that. It's just to talk about his experiences, good, bad, and indifferent. So we will have to see. Thank you for rocking out with us, VIPs. We appreciate you as always. When we come forward, the best of KBLA. Thank you for listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe. Have an amazing night.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica. KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
We thank you for sharing a part of your Friday morning with us here on the Black Information Network. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A U.S. soldier who crossed into North Korea is being charged with desertion and other crimes. Private Second Class Travis King was kicked out of North Korea